Hey, did you know that the bouncer you pop your baby into every morning could be stalling their first steps? I'm not kidding. Those handy gadgets we lean on might be quietly chipping away at your little one's growth. And it's not just about bouncers. There are hidden traps in our daily routines, from car seats to baby carriers, that could delay milestones like crawling or walking. Stick with me, because I've seen this play out in real families, and I'm breaking down 5 mistakes you might be making without even realizing it. Now, let's dig a little deeper. Ever wonder why some babies seem to hit those big moments, rolling over, sitting up, later than others? It's not always just they'll get there when they're ready. Sometimes it's the environment we create without even thinking. Take a typical day. You feed your newborn, strap them into a bouncer while you sip your coffee, then switch to a carrier for a nap. Later, it's the car seat for a quick errand, then a stroller at the store. Sounds familiar, right? This cycle, what I call container hopping, keeps babies locked in one spot for hours. And here's the kicker. Those devices, while lifesavers for tired parents, restrict movement. Babies need to wiggle, kick, and stretch to build muscles and coordination. Without it, they're missing out on the raw, messy practice that wires their brain for balance and spatial smarts. I've watched a mom struggle with guilt when her 9-month-old wasn't crawling yet, only to realize he spent 80% of his day in some kind of seat. We're not talking rare cases. Studies suggest babies in high-income countries can spend up to 5 to 6 hours daily in containers. That's half their awake time. So when we overuse gear, we're not just parking them, we're parking their progress. Let's unpack why movement isn't just play. It's power. It's how they learn cause and effect, like kicking a toy and seeing it skitter away. It's how they figure out their own body, inch by inch. Rob them of that, and you're slowing down not just their muscles, but their mind. I've got more to show you on how this plays out, plus other sneaky pitfalls you might not even notice until it's a problem. Let's set the stage with the nuts and bolts of how babies grow, because understanding this changes everything. Movement isn't optional. It's the engine of development. When a baby stretches for a rattle, they're not just playing. They're forging neural pathways for coordination. When they kick wildly on a blanket, they're prepping muscles for crawling. These tiny actions are the building blocks for huge milestones. Rolling at 4 months, sitting by 6, crawling by 9. But here's the hard truth. If they're stuck in a bouncer or car seat too long, those muscles don't get the workout. Research from pediatric experts shows that unrestricted floor time correlates strongly with hitting milestones on schedule. Babies who get at least 3 hours of free play daily are more likely to roll and crawl on time compared to those confined for longer. Now picture this, a 6-month-old I worked with, barely able to hold his head steady during tummy time. Why? His day was a shuffle between a swing, a stroller, and a high chair, barely 20 minutes on the floor. His muscles were weak, his balance off. Container hopping isn't just a cute term. It's a real barrier. But it's not just about gear. There's more lurking in plain sight. Take positional torticollis. When a baby's neck muscles tighten on one side, making their head tilt consistently. It's subtle, easy to miss as just a quirk, but left unchecked, it messes with balance and even breastfeeding. I've seen a little girl struggle to latch on one side, fussing through feeds because her neck wouldn't turn evenly. Then there's positional plagiocephaly, flat spots on the head from too much time lying in one position. It's not just cosmetic. Severe cases can shift facial symmetry or even affect vision. And don't get me started on baby wearing. Done wrong, legs dangling straight down for hours, It risks developmental dysplasia of the hip, or DDH, where the hip joint doesn't form right. Untreated, it can mean a limp or arthritis by toddlerhood. I recall a dad devastated when his 2-year-old started toe walking, only to learn it traced back to months of improper carrying. And the scariest? Letting babies nap in bouncers or swings. Their head slumps, chin to chest, blocking airways, a silent suffocation risk called positional asphyxiation. Organizations like pediatric safety groups warn it's a tragedy waiting to happen, with cases reported yearly. These aren't hypotheticals. They're real stakes. I've walked alongside parents who didn't see these red flags until a doctor pointed them out. So let's break each down. Why they happen, how to spot them, and what to do before it's too late. First, container time. Moderation is key. Aim for floor play to outpace gear time. Think 3-to-1 ratio. Spread a blanket, let them flop and roll, even if it's just 10 minutes after each feed. For torticollis, watch if their head always tilts one way. Beyond 3 months, that's a signal. A quick check with a pediatric therapist can get you exercises to loosen those muscles. Plagiocephaly. Alternate sleeping positions early. And don't ignore a flat spot past 6 weeks. Chat with your doc. Baby wearing? Go for the M position. Knees up, thighs supported, like a little frog on your chest. And sleep safety. Never ever let them doze in gear. A flat crib, bare of extras, is the only safe spot. These fixes aren't hard, but they demand awareness. I've seen the difference it makes. A baby who barely moved at 7 months turned into a rolling, giggling explorer once floor time became the norm. This isn't about perfection. It's about catching what slips through the cracks. But wait, have you checked your baby's head tilt today? I'm serious. Something as small as a consistent lean to one side could be a bigger clue than you think. Let's zoom in on positional torticollis, because this one's a silent saboteur. It starts innocent. Newborns naturally favor a side up to 3 months. But if it's always the same side, you've got a tight neck muscle pulling the strings. Why does this matter? It's not just a cute quirk. It throws off muscle balance. One side gets overworked, the other lags. And suddenly, rolling or sitting feels like climbing a mountain for your baby. I've sat with a mom who noticed her 4-month-old always looked left, thought it was just habit. By 6 months, he couldn't turn right at all during play, and his shoulder started hunching. That's posture damage creeping in. Worse, it can flatten one side of the head from constant pressure. And feeding? A nightmare if they can't turn to latch. The fix isn't complicated, but timing is everything. A pediatric therapist can show you gentle stretches. Think guiding their chin to the weak side during play, or positioning toys to lure their gaze. I've seen it work wonders in weeks if caught early. Left too long though, and you're looking at months of therapy, or even braces. This isn't rare. Estimates suggest up to 1 in 6 babies show some degree of torticollis. So, peek at your little one during their next nap. Same side tilt every time? Don't wait. That small observation could save months of struggle. And trust me, there's more where this came from. Other traps just as sneaky, waiting to trip you up. Let's hit the peak of what's at stake, because this is where it gets real. Start with container hopping. Beyond just delaying milestones, it rewires learning itself. A baby stuck in a bouncer can explore how their body moves in space. No reaching, no kicking, no accidental rolls. That's not just physical. It's cognitive. They miss out on if I push, this happens moments, like shoving a toy and seeing it slide. Studies back this. Babies with more floor time by 6 months show stronger problem-solving skills by age 2. I've watched a family turn this around. Their 8-month-old wasn't even attempting to crawl, spent most days in a stroller or seat. We carved out an hour of floor play daily, toys just out of reach. 2 weeks in, he was scooting. By month's end, crawling. That's the power of freedom. Now, hip dysplasia from bad baby wearing? It's a slow burn disaster. Legs straight down, thighs unsupported. For hours, you're stressing a joint still forming. DDH isn't painful at first, but by age 3, a waddling walk or toe-stepping screams trouble. Long-term arthritis or hip replacement. I've met a parent who carried their baby wrong for months, legs dangling. At 18 months, the pediatrician flagged an uneven gait. Therapy helped, but the guilt lingered. The right way? Hips bent, knees up, thighs wide. Think frog legs hugging you. It's endorsed by hip health experts globally. Then, plagiocephaly. Flat heads aren't just looks. Severe flattening shifts facial features, sometimes eyesight. A baby I knew had a noticeable asymmetry by 5 months from sleeping in one spot too long. Early repositioning and a doc's advice stopped it from worsening, but waiting could have meant a helmet. Torticollis ties in here. Constant tilt flattens one side faster. Spot it by 3 months, act by 4, and you're often clear. Delay, and you're playing catch-up. But nothing hits harder than sleep risks. Bouncers, swings, any angled gear can kill silently. Baby's head drops, airway closes, and you might not hear a peep. Safety reports note hundreds of incidents tied to positional asphyxiation over a decade. I've talked to a mom who let her 2-month-old nap in a rocker, thinking she'd watch close. She stepped away for a call, came back to a pale, limp baby. CPR saved him, but the terror stopped. Guidelines are clear. Play in gear, sleep in cribs. No exceptions. These aren't isolated risks. They stack. Too much container time fuels torticollis or flat spots. Wrong carrying adds hip strain. Sleep mistakes end in tragedy, but every single one is preventable. Floor time ratios, 3 hours free for every 1 confined. Neck checks, daily glances for tilt. Head shape, alternate positions from day 1. Carrying, check that M shape. Sleep, bare crib only. I've seen panic turn to pride when parents tweak these habits. A dad whose baby had a flat spot started tummy time religiously. By 6 months, the shape rounded out. Another swapped a bouncer nap for a crib. Sleep got safer. Peace of mind returned. These fixes aren't fancy. They're focus. Every day you choose movement over convenience. You're banking milestones. Every night you pick a safe. I've walked this road with enough families to know small shifts rewrite futures. So where's your baby right now? Floor or container? That answer matters more than you think. All right, let's lighten the load for a sec. Because parenting's heavy enough without all this worry piling on. Picture this. I'm juggling dinner prep, babies fussing, so I plop them in a rocker by the kitchen. Safe, contained. I can chop onions without a meltdown, mine or theirs. But then I learn about container time, and I'm like, fine, let's try this floor thing. I lay down a blanket, set them free, and 2 minutes in, they've rolled right into the couch leg. I'm half laughing, half panicking, fishing them out, while they're just giggling like it's the best ride ever. It hit me. Those little oops moments are gold. They're learning, even if it's learning how to crash. I started making floor time a game. Scatter toys just far enough to make them stretch, tickle their toes to get a kick. Suddenly, it's not a chore. It's a front row seat to their tiny victories. One day, after weeks of barely moving, I see this determined grunt and a wobbly push. They flipped over. I'm cheering like they've won the Olympics. And yeah, I still use gear when I'm drowning in laundry or need a shower. But now it's 15 minutes tops, then back to the floor. I've had moments of doubt, wondering if I'm overthinking it. But then I remember a friend's story. She kept her baby in seats all day, thought it was fine. At 10 months, no crawling, barely sitting. She felt like she'd failed. Once she switched to floor time, it was like unlocking a door. Progress came fast, but so did her relief. So, laugh at the chaos with me. Those blanket flops, the toy-chasing fumbles, they're messy, hilarious, and honestly, the best part of my day. It's not about nailing it every time. It's about showing up for the bloopers. Trust me, your baby's first accidental roll will have you in stitches. And you'll realize this whole freedom to move thing isn't just science. It's magic. Keep at it. Even when they're army crawling into your clean laundry pile. That's the win, right there. And I've got endless stories of these small, silly triumphs if you want to hear more. So here's the heart of it. Your baby's growth hinges on a few mindful choices. Limit container time. Make floor play the star, not the side act. Watch for head tilts or flat spots. Catch torticollis or plagiocephaly early with a doc's help. Carry them right, hips in that M shape to shield their joints. And please, keep sleep safe. Cribs only, no bouncers or swings for naps. These aren't just tips. They're guardrails for milestones and safety. I've seen the difference. Babies stuck at square one transform into explorers with a little tweak in routine. You've got the power to dodge these pitfalls starting today. If you're vibing with this and want more real talk on raising strong, happy kids, hit that like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Your support keeps me going. And hey, videos like this can vanish fast, so don't wait to stay in the loop. Now, tell me, what's one thing you've noticed about your baby's movement or habits lately? Drop it in the comments. I'm all ears for your stories.